Hello, welcome everybody. This is DZ Maven again with another Gunpla review. And today, taking another look at one of my old kits again. This time it is the Super Gundam. I've been kind of watching Zeta and ZZ lately, so I've been kind of in a mood for Zeta related stuff. So I got several Zeta kits, and so probably start looking at some of those. But anyway, this is the Super Gundam. Came out a long time ago. I think it probably 96, 97 around the time it came out. So a little bit after the time when the Gundam 1.0 came out. And here it is. Since this is it's almost kind of like two kits in one. So I'm going to talk about the Master Grade Gundam Mark II first, since that comes with the kit complete the way it is, and then I'll talk about the G Defensor. And then I will combine the two and talk about that here. So, anyway, this is the old Gundam Mark II here. At the time this came out, this is actually a pretty good kit at the time it came out. But of course nowadays it's completely outclassed by the version 2.0 of the Gundam Mark II. So, if you're shopping for a Gundam Mark II, then obviously get the 2.0 kit, because that's probably one of the best master grades still today, is the 2.0 kit. But this is a 1.0 kit. So as you can see, it's not a whole lot of surface detail on this kit. It's actually pretty plain looking. But this does have a partial inner frame inside the leg here. So they're trying to simulate the movable frame stuff that's in here, but you only really get a frame in the legs. The rest of the kit doesn't have any sort of inner frame in it. Poseability wise, it's probably what you expect. Probably the nicest thing I've noticed when I pulled this kit out is that yes, you can get a very nice bend out of the arms on this kit. The hands are the 3-finger, index, and thumb. It's not bad. It doesn't really hold weapons very well, but it's not as fragile as the hands on the Gundam 1.0. You can rotate around, bend up like so. It's about as far as it's going to go, and of course it will go all the way around like that. There is a little bit of a shoulder clavicle right there. Unfortunately, there is no forward movement with it, so it's kind of limited in that regard. Head, it can go all the way around if you wanted to. Just gotta kind of push it all the way around. There you go. And the center torso, not a whole lot. It turns not that much. Side skirts, you can flip up. These front ones, that's about as far as they go, right there. So because of that, the leg isn't going to go up. Well, it goes up about that far. Now in the leg, you only get a 90-degree bend, which is kind of disappointing. We move on down to the feet. The feet got some nice range of motion to them. They can bend down like that. You also get to show off this little nice piston action, which is in here. Those are different separate parts here. And the feet can move forward back here. Weirdly enough, this back piece is on a ball joint, so it kind of turns around. It's kind of a weird design choice, I would say, but that's what it is. Now none of the frame moves around on this like the Mark II Gundam, unlike the 2.0. So it's all very plain. So it kind of reminds me of a really big high grade by comparison to today now. There are some very bad seam lines on this kit, I noticed when I pulled it out. And like these upper arms here, this upper arm keeps splitting apart up there, and there's a gap between that upper arm and the clavicle. That's always kind of hard to get rid of. And of course you got seam lines on these upper leg parts here you have to be aware of. But other than that, there's really not too many other seam lines, not that I noticed on here. There's plenty more on the G Defensor when I get to that.
Backpack thrusters, these don't really move around that much. And of course the little beam saber rack verniers, these rotate around. You get your beam sabers on here. This one's loose. It always likes to flop forward on me, but it's on there, and they just come out. It's the exact same thing in the 2.0, so it's not that, except the only difference is this comes in 2 parts here, so this little tip piece likes to come off a lot, I noticed. So, get that back in there. So, it comes with a few stickers and dry transfers. These are dry transfer. This one's starting to kind of scrape off a little bit here because it's old. But you do get sticker decals with this. The old sticker decals are really not that good on the old master grades. They're kind of really thick or clunky. I don't really like them too much, but that's what it is. So accessories, you get your beam rifle, Mark II beam rifle. It's not bad. Design really isn't that different in the 2.0 kit. The only real difference I see here is that this little nut clip that sort of plugs into the side skirt, that actually comes out. You can kind of push it into the other side. That's one thing this old Gundam Mark II has, but the 2.0 doesn't. On the 2.0, it's really just a plug. That's all it is. But that's the beam rifle. E-pack can come off. It's a little hard to get off, but there it is. You get 2 extra E-packs. They can go on the shield. You get the Hyper Bazooka. Again, same deal. Cartridge can come off. This has the same thing in it, where a little clip can be pushed out and in, like so. Hyper Bazooka doesn't really come in color though. It's kind of pretty plain looking though, and I think it's a 2-part affair, so you're going to have kind of a slight seam running all the way down the length of this. Again, an extra pack for the Bazooka, and the head Vulcan unit. Comes with a sticker for this red piece here. Yeah, it is what it is. It's alright. And you got your shield. Shield's a lot more simple on this kit. It just connects to peg hole here. This sort of plugs right in. It's not really a tight fit. It's a little loose. Actually, this is looser. It comes right off. But it'll rotate around like so for positioning. But you can only put it on the back of the forearm, so it's kind of limited in that regard. And the shield can fold up. It just pops open like that and slides down. Not that far down. Have to kind of get it in the hole there. Find it. There we go. That's in, sort of. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah, that's the shield. Stickers for these yellow pieces. Oddly enough, the 2.0 does the same thing. It has stickers for that too. But yep. And of course, lastly, you get beam saber blades or the beam sabers. These are old style too, but they're long. They're longer than the ones on the Gundam 1.0 kit. Yeah. Alright, so anyway, that's the Gundam Mark II. So, give me a second here. I'm going to pull out the G Defensor and I will show you that. Alright, and I'm back. And here it is. Here is the G Defensor. It's sizable and it's very, very floppy. This long rifle cannon does not like to stay on it. It's only connected by this little shallow plug, and it doesn't like to really stay in. So I'm just going to set that aside for a moment. So anyway, here it is. It's kind of plain, yeah, like the Gundam Mark II kit. So if it's pretty plain looking, you get a lot of stickers for this, unfortunately, because back then they didn't have I didn't do a lot of color separation on these things. All this blue here, that's a sticker. That's just one big sticker right there. You get some stickers for these red details and the yellow on the side of the little fighter. Yeah. But anyway, this is the core fighter. Well, it's not really a core fighter, a little fighter thing.
cockpit hatch opens up and your young idiot Kotz is in there. He flew himself into an asteroid because he was being an idiot. And you get missile pods right there. And a lot of this kind of moves around. This flap moves around. These verniers, they move around. Wings, they can fold up like so. And these are sort of like, I guess these are support landing pads. There's no real landing gears on this thing, so that's just kind of the way it is. Now the core fighter piece, this can come out, separate, little fins, and this can act on its own. You can have it on there or leave it off. And take a look at the cannon here. These parts open up on the cannon. They're not really held in place very well, so they kind of flop around a bit. Plug will fold back in, and there is the grip for it right there. That white piece up here, that is a sticker. Surprisingly enough, it has stayed on all these years, but it never really wants to be on there all the way. This edge keeps coming off. And this thing has a rather bothersome seam line that runs all the way down the length of it. So yeah, so something you have to be aware of. That. Don't think there were, well, let's see, look at the seam lines on here. I don't think there was really that many. Well, a little bit on the side here, they'll probably be a little pain in the ass to work with. Alright, so the way this goes on the Gundam Mark II here, let me pull it back over here, is usually on these Gundam Mark II kits, when you see them, there's usually a little plug plate right here. And even on the 2.0, and the real grade has this too. Just gotta pull that out. And now you got a little hole back there. So, the way this goes on, let me put him aside for a bit. So, this does have a little bit of a transformation here. These things, flip those up. You move this back. Now these things are kind of locked in place. You have to kind of pull them forward a little bit. Come out just like that. Like so. Then you want to rotate this so that these are facing this way. Like so. Now the other thing is that this kind of slides back down, so you want to slide these pieces down like that. They're a little stiff. And then this little thing comes up like that. And there's your plug right there. You can see this, but the plug just kind of goes right in. These beam saber racks are going to get pushed forward, unfortunately. There's not much you can do about that. And then just push the clip back down. And that is pretty much the Super Gundam. It's kind of hard to get into the frame because it's so big. And it's also very, very hard to stand. As you can imagine, this is incredibly back heavy. And the legs on this old kit are not that great. But, yep. Alright. Ooh. Yeah, he's about like tipped over. Put him all the way back there, and let me adjust my camera a little bit here. There we go. There you go. Alright, now you can see it. Super Gundam. It's very back heavy and very clunky and fiddly. Now the long rifle here. This thing is incredibly hard to pose with, because again it's long and the hands, like I mentioned on the Mark II, are really not that great. But see if I can try to get it on here. There's my light. it's kind of a little easier to have it held like a bazooka. I have just found. Then again, it's really not going to hold it up, so it's coming apart. It's coming down. Yeah. So I think I'm not even going to bother with this. But anyway, you kind of get the idea. It's with this on here, it's like way unstable. These feet keep not staying put here on this thing. So, alright, there's one last thing for me to show here. I'm going to turn it into the flyer mode here, and I'm going to be back here in just a second here. Okay, and I'm back. That actually took a few minutes to do because this thing likes to fall apart when I'm trying to turn it into the G-flyer mode. Yep, and the cannon fell off again. Well, it was on there for a moment. Anyway, these things just basically fold around and stick under the arms. There are these little support brackets that kind of come out and hook around the legs. They kind of try to help keep the legs in place. They work okay, I said. Now you can usually have it with or without the little fighter thing on here. The fighter has a little flap that kind of helps protect the head, sort of. But anyway, that is the G Flyer. As you can see, it's very jiggly, not very stable. I'm going to set it down. Yeah, so anyway, that is the Super Gundam. So this is still a good kit. I wouldn't really say it's something you should probably buy. I mean, if you find one that's really cheap, I mean, that might be an interesting thing to have. Now, the question you're probably wondering is, does the G Defensor fit on the Mark II 2.0 kit? Well, I will show you that eventually when I get to talking about the Mark II 2.0 kit. But this kit as a whole, it's very, very fiddly, and you got to be kind of aware of that. The engineering of these legs on the old Mark II kit is really not designed to hold anything of this type of weight. So you can get it up on an action base. That kind of helps a little bit, but it's kind of tends to flop around a lot on an action base, I noticed. So, and of course, that long rifle is incredibly hard to pose with or even keep it on the kit. So it's kind of, I mean, it's an interesting kit, but it's really kind of a pain in the ass to work with, to be honest. So that's going to be kind of my opinion on that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little look at this old Super kit. It's not quite super by today's standards, but yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, that'll be it for now. That's it for the review, and I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and comment, and there'll be more coming. So have a great day, y'all. Bye bye.